Hello and welcome to the Thoughts on Wrestling podcast with me, Rob, and joined as ever by Dan. Dan, how are you doing?
Well, I'm very tired today, but, I'm hanging in there, I guess.
Hanging in there. We're going to review NXT Takeover Chicago. All in all, I thought it was a really good show. What did you think, Dan?
I thought it was one of the best takeovers in, probably since Toronto. I thought it was amazing. This had, I think a lot of people were, sort of, what's the word, not underwhelmed, but, had low expectations going to this, but it delivered so amazingly.
Well, I said in my predictions that I no longer get truly hyped about NXT takeovers like I used to, but I always expect it to be a good show, nevertheless. And it never fails to deliver in some way, in my opinion. There's always at least one great match. The storylines are always solid. There's normally a surprise or two, a swerve or some sort. So it always keeps you on your toes. And, I mean, last night was helped by one match in particular, which we'll get to, which was just extraordinary. But the rest of the show was solid too. So, yeah, I thought it was really good. Shall we?
Yeah, name one bad takeover. You can't, because there's not been ever one bad takeover.
No.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously people complain about the TV, and I can sort of see why, because the TV sort of not as it should be. But when you get takeover, you're guaranteed a great show, and we did get one.
Well, the thing is, when as a more casual fan that I am these days, I don't tend to watch Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. I see the highlights. But unlike the main roster, which pay-per-views are still very hit and miss, tend to be on the miss side, takeovers still deliver, even if the TV's a bit whatever. But takeovers always seem to knock it out of the park, which is, well, fantastic.
That indeed.
First match, Roderick Strong defeated Eric Young of Sanity. This was the first time since Roderick Strong has joined NXT that I saw his potential. I've seen him before, but this is the first time in NXT that I think he's stepped up, and actually I've gone, yeah, this guy is going to work in NXT. I think the vignettes that they've done for him have really given him a bit more of a meaning. New dad. It's all basic stuff, but it actually gives you something to get behind, rather than just, yeah, it's Roderick Strong. He was in Ring of Honor. Remember him? Which was basically what it seemed like before. What did you think?
No, yeah, I thought great opening match. Yeah, because I've seen Roderick Strong live in Ring of Honor before. I've seen his independent works in PWG, and he's amazing. And yeah, I do agree. This is probably the first time that he's finally shown who he is in the ring. And yeah, I think the vignettes have actually helped with his character, or who he is as well. So yeah, and I thought a really good match. These two do work well together.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Chicago crowd were fully behind old Roddy.
Hot as fuck as always.
Yeah, absolutely. They were great for the majority of the show, bar one, which we'll get to, in my opinion. But you might disagree. But yeah, I thought it was a really solid opener. Roderick Strong looked really good. Strong, you could say. He actually got to show what he was all about. And if he'd have been able to do this when he first arrived, that would have been fantastic, because he kind of had a bit of an amble. He didn't hit the ground running, shall we say? But yeah, this was much improved. I can get behind this Roderick Strong now, again, if he's going to keep doing this. And I was thinking, now that he's beaten Eric Young, that might be the end of this little mini feud or whatever. It might continue, but if it does end, and we've got a pretty stacked looking championship picture potentially all of a sudden, with him coming out of this fight. So because you've got Strong, you got Itami, whatever he does next. You've got McIntyre, you've got Rude, you got Black maybe. It's just there's potential, and I like it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know if... I think they might be going to McIntyre next, but yeah, I mean, they should do maybe a mini tournament to decide who gets the next shot for Brooklyn.
I'm always a fan of tournaments, so I like that idea. I'm a big tournament guy. Everything should be decided in a tournament.
I agree.
if I had my way, which I'm sure people would be driven mad by eventually. But everyone loves a good tournament. But yeah, really solid opener. Crowd hot as hell. Strong.
Strong also find hit the end of Heartache, which I love that move so much.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a fantastic little move. And yeah, Sanity are also, they're fun as always in their slight craziness. But
I do like the Sanity gimmick actually.
I like the Sanity gimmick.
I wasn't sure at first, but now I'm like, you know what, I actually quite like it.
Yeah, I think it's good for. Well, it's kind of like a stepping stone, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
Like if you do them, you move up. Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's talk about match of the night. Second match on.
Talk about the main event.
It should have been. In hindsight, should have been the main event.
The people's main event.
The people's main event. Wow. Yeah. Pete Dunne is the new UK champion, defeating Tyler Bate in a sensational match. Absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. The Chicago crowd deserved "This is awesome" chants. You've got chants of "Fight Forever." You've got a Chicago crowd chanting "UK, UK." 2 standing ovations mid-match. Yeah, I mean that kind of just shows you how damn good this back and forth was. And yeah, I feel like either man could have come out winning that match, and everyone would have been like, "Yeah, that's cool." I'm a bit disappointed that Tyler Bate lost. I did, but only because Pete Dunne is such a despicable little bastard.
I fucking love Pete Dunne. Like, even though he's a great heel, but is one of those heels that you just can't boo him. He's just that good.
Well, he's really. He's really good. But I like this is what he works for me, because he's a heel and I don't want him to win. That's the thing. I want him to lose because he's such a little bastard. His facial expressions. Oh, damn him.
Yeah. Him at Progress, like the crowd at Progress when he comes out is quite special. Literally just hatred, fingers in the air, and all that. It's quite amusing. But Pete Dunne, I think out of all the British ones, is definitely one of my favourites because he's so good, so good.
Yeah,
and I don't know what the thing is, but like both of them are still young.
Yeah,
Tyler Bates only 20, Pete Dunne's 23, and it's like I'm 25, and I look at it thinking, fucking hell.
What am I
doing with myself?
Yeah, no, absolutely sensational match. Like the reversals, the false finishes. It was
that corkscrew moonsault Tyler Bate put was just beautiful.
Yeah, I was just honestly this match. I can't think of a better, like off the top of my head, NXT Takeover match this year, or actually in quite some time. And I know other than you're going to be going back to, it would be one of the tag team matches in my opinion, with involving the Revival and DIY.
I think maybe I wouldn't say the closest, but like before this, the favourite was the 3-way tag from San Antonio, I think it was, or was it Orlando? Which one had DIY, Revival, and what was the Pain?
It was Orlando, right?
Yeah.
It was Orlando because then DIY came up to the main roster. Yeah, that was a really good match.
No, Revival came to the main roster.
Who did I say?
DIY.
Well, they didn't turn up to the main roster. That's not that. I lied to you there. I apologise.
But yeah, I think that was probably the best match until this.
Yeah.
On the NXT, and
okay. This is the best singles match in NXT that I can remember for a long time. Because because I'm a massive fan of the NXT tag team division and the teams that have come out of it. but off the top of my head, I can't think of a one that like recent memory that has rivaled the Tyler Bate Pete Dunne UK Championship match, because that was just brilliant.
I think for me will probably be Nakamura and Zayn from Dallas. That was over a year.
Yeah, that's one of the best. Absolutely.
Well, that's my favorite match of all time.
Well, yeah, that's understandable.
And
It was a really good match, and we were there live.
And this match will probably go in the top 10 because that was just.
Yeah, I must admit, you asked me if I wanted to go and see Progress in September, and because I'm planning on going to SummerSlam and potentially the Rumble, I've got to be careful with my money, and I said I'll pass. But after seeing that, I'm like, oh, probably shouldn't have passed on that.
I think there's still tickets. I think.
I'll have to look into that one because.
Well,
good lord,
good match. They've also got electric ballroom shows, which I could take in. The environment there is fucking immense. So it's.
Yeah, I mean these two alone might persuade me to fully dive into watching Progress. After all.
Yeah, it's.
Lord. Oh, but here's a good question for you, Dan. Obviously, Pete Dunne, Progress champion.
Yep.
And now UK champion. He likes to hold the belt in his mouth.
I'll tell you what, if he holds 2 belts in his mouth, then he ultimately is the greatest person alive.
He's going to have a jaw of steel if he does that.
Yeah.
I'll be very impressed. I kind of just want to see that now. I want to see his next entrance. Just coming out with 2 belts. Yeah, if they have a rematch, which I imagine they will, I want to see it. I want to see it, and I want to see it now. Take my money. If it's at the next takeover, which I assume is the SummerSlam weekend.
Well, I was on Twitter and someone did make a good point of, even though I would love to see Bate and Dunne again, I think the next takeover, the Brooklyn takeover, they should do Dunne versus Andrews for the UK title, Mark Andrews, because I think they'll fucking tear it to the roof of that place.
Oh yeah, they absolutely would. Absolutely, there's no doubt. And in fairness, you probably, like you mentioned earlier, they are only 20 and 23, so there's no rush to have, because it would be the third match if they did it again. So you could probably wait, and you could probably show off more of the talent rather than just saying these two are the best, because there's obviously a lot more going on.
Well, what I want to know is now, would this blend in with Progress storylines? Because for people who don't know, Dunne, Bate, and Trent Seven are part of British Strong Style, who are pretty much, and Dunne's the Progress champion, and Tyler Bate and Trent Seven are tag team champions. And I think recent shows, there has been a tiny tad bit of tension between them. So I don't know if now they'll actually use this as the beginning of the breakup, which will be very sad if it is indeed. But
it very well could be used that way. It's hard to tell because obviously they haven't really mentioned that trio in any of the UK stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of has been kept separate, but they could use it. They could go either way, couldn't they? Really, they could go either way. They could either keep it separate, or they can just go.
Yeah, because
with everything.
Because Tyler Bate has brought before he lost. Tyler Bate did bring the belt out at Progress shows.
Yeah.
And he was always announced as UK champion. So they could do it because, as I said, there has been a tiny tad bit of tension. And now Tyler Bate is in the Super Song Star tournament with the winner getting the shot at Pete Dunne. So I don't know. I mean, they could do it, but
absolutely,
who knows?
Wait and see on that one.
Yes,
we will wait.
But yes, for the two fans that listen to this, and please watch this match because this match is great, and you'll finally show you what the UK scene is all about, because the UK scene right now is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the match between at the UK special, which was obviously the night before, you had 2 good matches there. You had Mark Andrews versus Tyler Bate, and you had Pete Dunne versus Trent Seven, and they were great. They were good matches. A bit ruined for me. Not ruined, that's the wrong word. When I know finishes or who wins, I can never get as fully in as to a live event. But they were good. But then this match, they went up a good few rungs, if not more. They really put the rest of the roster to shame almost with their.
Oh,
And the fans loved it. The fans ate up every single minute of it.
Well, it was the right crowd. It was the right crowd. Chicago.
It was the right
the
crowd, and they put on the performance to match the crowd. And the only way should be up for because if the next one is Brooklyn, that's going to be a good crowd too. So this is.
And you will be there live, Rob.
I will be there live. So I will be the crowd, me on my own, just screaming with delight the entire time. All right, that's enough. Although we could go on for weeks.
I could record an hour. Yeah, I could record an hour how amazing this match is. But yeah, we have other matches to talk about.
Watch that match. If you don't, you're a fool because it's real good.
And Dave Meltzer, if you don't get this 5 stars, then you're a fool as well. I'm kidding. I know it won't, but still, you better give it a good rating.
No, it's definitely going to get a good rating. If he's not going to give it, it's got to be a 4.5 or whatever. I don't care about ratings. All I know is this match, quality.
6 stars.
Let's move on to the NXT Women's Championship. Asuka versus Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross. Obviously, Asuka won. She's still undefeated, but there are chinks in her armor. She's starting to look a little bit more vulnerable every defense, and she's kind of having to sneak away to victory a little bit more, which I like. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was another good match as well. I did actually like the finish, which he literally just kicked. I think it was Nikki Cross, and it just covered both of them. I was like, yeah. I mean, yeah, she
kicked Ruby Riott, who was in the middle of a pin on Nikki Cross, and then pinned them both. I liked it, but it kind of came out of nowhere and was a little bit of a weird finish. But storyline wise, I love it because it's obviously she literally just nabbed it.
And the fact they had Ember Moon watching, so now they're going to be like, okay,
yeah,
it's going to be Ember Moon, Asuka again, I guess.
Absolutely, that's the program they've been going for a while. Ember Moon's going to be the one, I think.
Yeah.
To defeat Asuka, end the streak, and then Asuka will probably move up to the main roster after a while, and that'd be great. I thought the crowds obviously weren't quite as hyped for this one because they were, justifiably a little bit burnt out from the match before. And I think at the same time, like it was quite obvious that Asuka wasn't going to lose either the title or her streak in a triple threat match because it's got one-on-one storyline written all over it. So
yeah, no, I agree.
This was the low point, and by a low point, I don't mean low point, but it was out of the 5 matches, this was the one that was the fans are the quietest for, in my opinion, and we knew the result. But there were still some great spots in it, like Nikki Cross got Asuka caught in the ring apron and just like started pummeling her. I haven't seen that in a while. I can't actually remember the last time I saw it ever. So recently, certainly. So that was awesome. I thought it was a solid match.
Yeah, I'm really a big fan of Ruby Riott. I think she's great.
Still unsure myself.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it. I'm not in. I'm not out by any means, but still waiting. We'll see. Well, I'll watch her for then the next takeover, and I'll make my call then. I do love Nikki Cross though. She's crazy, and
yeah, Nikki Cross is amazing.
Yeah. Right, cool. Let's move on. I feel like that was. There's not much else to say about that one. It was a solid match. Asuka won, as always. That's the Women's Championship scene. It's gonna be shaken up soonish. What did you think about the NXT Championship match not being the main event?
Yeah, I was a bit skeptic about that until we saw what happened in the end. But
yeah,
it was.
I'm of the opinion that it should either. I don't know. It feels bad, like say, because the NXT Tag Team division deserve to be the main event, because they've been fantastic for like 2 years. But I don't know. There's something that the NXT Championship or the Women's Championship, the top singles prizes should be the main event.
Well, no, I don't mind like with the tag team titles like headline events. Like I love that. That's what NXT does. They'll give like people who would never main event the main roster main event this.
Yeah, that's true.
I do like that. I mean, I can understand why they put the tag team match in the end, but yeah, I had no issue with that whatsoever.
Yeah, maybe it's just me being a bit pedantic. I can accept that. I am every so often. Um, I really like Bobby Roode as champion, and it's not just because of his entrances and his song. Uh,
Well, that's still the greatest theme ever. And I don't think anything's going to top it
I
ever.
feel like he's a bit of an underrated champion. Do you get that? Do you get that impression as well? Like people think in his reign is a bit of a like because obviously NXT's taken a bit of a step down. That his reign is that. Or is that just my impression that I've been getting?
I don't think so.
No.
I think
See, I
no,
don't hold that
no.
opinion. I think Bobby Roode's fantastic, and I think his two matches against Nakamura were great, and I thought this was a good match as well. But I don't know. That's a vibe I thought I'd been receiving. But if you don't see it, excellent. I'm glad.
Yeah, no. I think he's doing great. He's a great world champion. Uh, I'm just I actually just don't know who actually could take the belt of him. That's the question.
Um,
I,
well,
I don't know if Galloway is the right person to do it.
I think Galloway will definitely, obviously, hold the title eventually.
Oh yeah,
I could honestly see Reed holding this championship for a while because he's been pretty dominant with it, and he hasn't even like. I know he took advantage of an injury to beat Nakamura, which apparently makes him a bad guy, which I don't quite understand because that's just smart. But he's like, in my opinion, he's won all of his matches quite clearly. Like he's so I don't know. It's gonna have to be someone else who's like hard hitting. It could be Galloway. I think it could be Galloway, or
what
it will be Black, and they'll do.
or or if it's the case, a certain Adam Cole Bebe.
That's true, actually. You know what? I could see the title change happening in a say like a fatal four way or something. Like
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually.
unlike with Asuka, who's obviously never going to lose in not a singles match. I could see Rude having a yeah. I could see him defending it against uh, let's say Adam Cole, some version of Adam Cole, Itami, Galloway, or Black. Maybe not.
No, I would actually think the four way. If it was a four way, it'd be Galloway, Ono, and
Oh yeah, I forgot about Ono and Strong, of
Either
course. You've got him too.
oh, strong. Yeah,
See, there's quite a few. I could see that being a because then he could lose without being pinned perchance, so he'd still look good, and that could be a story. I think honestly, the NXT Championship picture at the moment has so much potential,
yeah,
and I really like it because they've got a lot of people who are on the cusp or already there, which I think is great. I really like that.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I was quite disappointed that Adam Cole wasn't actually there. I thought he would at least been shown in the crowd or something, but I'm guessing they're gonna wait. If that is the case, he is signed with them yet, or
well, they might keep him off for a little bit. I mean, it's not too long until
Brooklyn.
until Brooklyn, and he could turn up as a massive surprise there. Although the longer they keep him off, the longer he'll probably be reported to be there.
Yeah,
Or he could just turn up at a taping. That would be awesome too, because that'd be a huge moment for the
yeah. I
San
don't know.
Antonio guys, not San Antonio guys, the Full Sail guys. But at the
I
same
don't know.
time, maybe it probably should happen on a takeover because the takeover is the show that has all eyes on.
Yeah, and the crowd better.
Yeah.
Full Sail, like I don't know the Full Sail crowd, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think
As for the match
yeah, I think
itself,
that
I man, I'm a big fan of the Glorious DDT, especially when he kept the head locked and went into the and did a second immediately after to win the match. I
yeah.
thought that was, and then the height that Atami got and his wow, that was really good. Where does Atami go from here? That's the real question because it was a good match. Rude won. Rude's still champion. He's got plenty of options. What do you think Atami's going to do? He's going to 205 Live?
I was gonna say that. I was thinking 205 Live. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if it's me, but I think NXT may need like a mid card title or something. To...
I think you might be right at the moment, especially considering how stacked the championship picture could potentially be. But then you've got the problem of if you have another title, I'm assuming they're going to keep having the UK Championship defended on takeovers, at least for a while, if not forever. So they're going to have to add. I suppose they could just add another match, because then if they had another mid-card title, that'd be 5 championship defenses, and then they'd probably have a regular singles match as well. So they could just make the show longer, maybe.
Well, yeah, it's a network. They usually go over anyway, so do it 3 hours.
I do enjoy the fact that takeovers are shorter shows. They're quite compact.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that could be a way they go for then, a mid card title, and then Itami could be in that realm?
Maybe that. I mean, obviously February 205 Live, but then if he goes 205 Live, he's done for, because they're just gonna they'll just book it poorly, like they've done all the cruiserweights, to be honest.
Yeah, that is true. It is almost a kiss of death. Like even Austin Aries is struggling, and he's brilliant. I can't see Itami being NXT champion now. I feel like, I don't know, like obviously I feel like he's got this stigma of injuries, and I think they might be, at least for a while, like say 6 months, 8 months, they might be very reluctant to push him to that height until he can prove that he's like fine again. But also, like when you compare him, I know it doesn't matter, but when you compare him in size to like Galloway and Rude and everyone else, he looks really small.
Yeah,
and does. I know WWE sometimes have a problem with that. So I don't really know where Itami's going to go from here. But hopefully somewhere good. Hopefully they don't just forget about him because he's been injured. That'd really suck.
Yeah.
All right. Main event. Obviously, we've alluded to it already. The main event was the tag team titles defended in a ladder match. There was the Authors of Pain versus hashtag DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Authors of Pain came out first as champions. I'm not happy about that at all. That's not right. This was a really good match, wasn't it? It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, these tag team matches, I mean, Authors of Pain, yeah, they're not the best, but they put on some damn good matches.
They put on good matches, and people don't like them. They're like true heels.
Yes.
They're like, people don't want them to win. They want everyone else to win. It's like sometimes people get confused. Like, it's like, oh, I don't like them. They're bad. It's like, no, you don't like them because you're not meant to like them. It's unusual in this industry at the moment, because heels tend to be more Kevin Owens, like popular, which is not a dig at Kevin Owens, but that's the way heels tend to go. It's very unusual to have a heel who's actually hated, like Pete Dunne, for example. But the crowd fully behind hashtag DIY, who were almost hometown boys, which kind of gave...
You know what that means, Rob?
Kind of gave the game away when we realised that, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because hometown boys and girls do not win. Gargano, I honestly don't know how he didn't get seriously injured in this match.
God, that ladder spot where they swung in his face, my God.
Yeah, that looked horrible in the replay. And then, but earlier, like a couple of minutes before, when he jumped off a ladder onto whichever one of the Authors of Pain it was, when they did the dual ladder spot onto the ladders,
bounced off.
Yeah, he like overextended, just jumped too far, bounced off, and then flopped to the floor, basically almost landing flat on his head. And you could tell that old Nigel McGuinness, like, absolutely panicked. You could hear it in his voice. He just went, "Oh!" Because that was not a good landing. But yeah, that ladder spot where they just cracked him in the face, that looked nasty. Oh. Loads of little good moments in this match, actually. And then you almost had DIY doing it. I thought they were gonna regain those titles. Actually, I thought the reason for the ladder match was so that the Authors of Pain didn't have to take a pinfall or submission, and so they could DIY could feud with, say, Heavy Machinery or something very briefly, and then the Authors of Pain can come back. Something like that. Just mix it up a little bit. But the Authors of Pain continuing to look absolutely dominant. And then obviously at the end of the match, I didn't see this coming at all. Dan, did you see it coming?
Well, here's the thing, right? So last year when they did the Cruiserweight Classic, and they had that amazing match, and then after Brooklyn where Gargano got submitted by Dash and Dawson,
Yeah.
I was actually waiting for this because they did this. If you don't remember Brooklyn,
Yeah,
they sat in the ring and then
they teased it really hard.
Yeah, and I was thinking, okay, next show something's happening. They're gonna lose or something like that. And then obviously they didn't. They came tag team champions. So I sort of did, but it went out of my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when I saw that, I was like, and then they did the great thing as they've done before, where they put the graphic up.
Oh, that was sensational. That was actually brilliant because I thought it was the end.
Yes.
And then obviously suddenly there's the attack afterwards, and they take the graphic down. Like that was perfect, actually.
So yeah, so I sort of didn't expect it at first, and obviously it left my mind for ages. And when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, that's
It was a properly. It was really well done. It was really well done. Like not many people, were expecting it. I actually thought, like I said, I thought they were going to regain the titles. And then there was that swerve. Like and because people weren't expecting it, people reacted with genuine or they didn't want it because people almost wanted it, didn't they? Back after the Cruiserweight Classic match because they knew we knew how good they could wrestle against each other, and we kind of wanted to see that. But because they waited, and then you've got the whole story of them, like they won the tag team titles, they lost them, they trying to regain them, and then it happened. It was heartbreaking almost. And so instead of you getting that awesome heel turn, it was like, oh no, he's turned heel on him. That sucks. Well, that's how I reacted at least.
Well, yeah, that's how you. I remember how you. But I was like, okay, this is quite good. These two have a great match. If they do Brooklyn, they'll have a fantastic.
Oh yeah,
match.
No, absolutely. I thought that as well. But at the same time, I was like, I don't really want these guys to break up and feud. I wanted them to be a tag team still, like because they've been so good, and that makes the heel turn that much better in my opinion. They struck at the right time because it was unexpected. People didn't really want it, which makes it that much more painful.
I just wish Raw and SmackDown were the same. Just did great storytelling like they do in NXT.
Well, you can forget about that idea because we all know that's not going to happen. Because the main roster is sometimes a pile of garbage.
Oh yeah, especially when Jinder Mahal wins the world title tonight.
Jinder Mahal is not winning the world title tonight.
I don't know.
There's no way. I tell you what, right? Genuinely, we'll talk about Backlash very quickly before we wrap up. I find Jinder Mahal more entertaining than I find Randy Orton.
Well, anyone's entertaining Randy Orton.
Exactly. So if he won the title and beat Randy Orton, I'd actually be fine with that because Randy Orton is a boring champion. I don't want Jinder Mahal champion, but if I have to pick the lesser of two evils, that's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, true. I'll give you that, but still, just ugh.
I just think the way they've gone about the whole Jinder Mahal thing is really bizarre because he's obviously gone as he left Raw as like ultimate jobber, couldn't buy a match, and then suddenly he's really dominant on the SmackDown scene in the championship picture, beating up Randy Orton all the time with help, obviously. It's like, hang on, what's going on here?
Well,
you can't.
When the fact that the company you work for wants to go to your territory, and plus you got a body like that, I'm not surprised really.
What do you mean a body like that? He's just one massive vein.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just.
All right, I don't really want to talk about Backlash, if I'm completely honest. Let's wrap up. Any final thoughts on Takeover, other than the fact it was really good and the UK Championship match was sensational?
I would just like to say, like, Nigel McGuinness on commentary is fucking awesome.
Oh, that's a really good point, actually. I did want to mention that. I love his style. He's calm, he's collected, he's knowledgeable, and yeah, he just like I miss Corey Graves still. Don't get me wrong, but he's so good. Like he brings something that no one else seems to bring because everyone else just gets very shouty.
Yeah, and him and JR did work really well together.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
props to them.
But an interesting thing about that was that Nigel, when he was with Tom Phillips and Percy Watson, or whatever his name is, he was like a color commentator. When JR came out, he kind of switched into the play-by-play, so he can do both. Anything else, Dan?
No, just if you go out your way to see the show, especially the Dunne Bate match, that's
Yeah,
do
a
it.
must watch. A must
It's-
watch.
I've watched it. I watched it already this
Yeah, me
morning.
too.
Yeah, it's just, so amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, you've been listening to the Thoughts on Wrestling podcast with myself, Rob, and Dan. If you want to read any more nonsense from me, you can go to www.thoughtsoneverything.co.uk. Thanks very much for listening. Bye.
Bye.